David Menzies for Rebel News here at Cedarvale Park in North Toronto. And folks, the park is quite serene right now, aside from the occasional bark from a dog at the nearby off-leash dog park. But 48 hours ago, this park was a crucible of hatred, which is to say, vandals came here, presumably in the wee hours of the day, just as the Israeli hostages were being released, to spray paint vile and hateful messages. That would include "from the river to the sea," that's a code word for genocide, and of course, "death to the IDF." No nuance there, I should think. Now, what happened was that the city was very fast in cleaning up the graffiti. This was one of the targets, this Toboggan Hill sign, and of course the de rigueur coyote warning sign. You'll see that in so many parks these days. And you know, I think it's just so diabolical that for these past 2 years, since the greatest slaughter of Jews post the Holocaust, I'm talking about October 7th, 2023, Jew hatred has become normalized in Toronto and so many other places. And I'm not just talking about nasty graffiti. I'm talking about a Jewish girls' school not very far from here that has been shot at on 3 separate occasions. I'm talking about numerous synagogues that have been paint bombed and had their windows smashed in. It's just another day in the life of Hogtown, isn't it? But you know what, folks? What I find almost as disturbing as the ongoing anti-Semitism in the streets of my birthplace is the ho-hum attitude by the politicians, by the police, and by the mainstream media. You know, I did a Google News search in terms of the coverage that Cedarvale Park received in light of the vandalism and the graffiti, and all I could find was one report from Israel National News, which isn't even based in Canada. So clearly, for the mainstream media funded by the Mark Carney Liberals, they have other fish to fry. Also missing in regard to this episode were the de rigueur hollow words from the likes of Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow and Ontario Premier Doug Ford, who typically comment about such incidents using the phrase "hate has no home here," while providing a home for hatred. Indeed, on cold days, as we've seen, the Toronto Police Service will deliver coffee and Timbits to the Hamas holes who are chanting genocide in predominantly Jewish neighborhoods. As I said, it's diabolical. Bottom line, as the hostage drama in Gaza is finally coming to an end, here on the home front, anti-Semitism is thriving, and it's being ignored by Toronto's mayor, Ontario's premier, the Toronto police, and the mainstream media. It kind of makes you wonder, was this what it was like for Jews in 1930s Germany? For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, after 2 years of chanting genocide and cosplaying as terrorists and displaying swastikas, are you sick and tired of what you're seeing from the Hamas holes out there? Well, we sure are. The thing is, some of these people, they're not even Canadian citizens. They're international students, or they're here on temporary work visas. And if that's the case, you have to go. If you agree with us, go to our petition, supporthamas.com. That's supporthamas.com. If you think you can visit Canada and bring your hatred with you, you've got another thing coming. Pack your bags and leave.